everybody, Disaster here, and today I'll be talking about the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, which I just watched. Hunter x Hunter I thought was very... What? Oh, I did it wrong. Hunter times Hunter? Hunter plus Hunter? Hunter and Hunter? Hunter? Are we talking about the sim fucking anime here or what? Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, Disaster here, and this will be my first review. So today, I finished watching the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, the Hunter exam arc, and I thought it was really good and felt like it would be worth making a review on. Also, this will be like a little series I'm doing. I'm going to continue watching Hunter x Hunter, and I will review all of the arcs. I think there are 6 so far. The next one I will be reviewing is Heaven's Arena. But I've blabbered my ass off for too long now. Don't want to go for over like 2 minutes because then I'll turn into one of those YouTubers. So let's just start the video now. You can smile again. Hunter x Hunter is the uplifting and fun story of gone freaks. Let's show a clip of this anime being happy and fun. As you can tell from the clip, Hunter x Hunter is a very happy-go-lucky adventure anime. Probably the most happy one you'll find. All jokes aside, I absolutely love this anime so far. A lot of people say that it only starts to get good in the later arcs, but I honestly was captivated at the very beginning. The story is about Koopa Poopa Poopa Kika, Lay Oreo, I'm Going to Kill Ya, and Gon. Come on, guys, that joke about Gon was pretty funny, right? Guys? Oh, wasn't it fun? Now, these characters are all different and are very interesting, but the one thing they have in common is that they're all gay. They're all best friends. Gon is a cheerful and happy kid that wants to be a hunter. And no, I'm not talking about actual hunters. I'll explain later. He wants to find his dad, Ging, or Jing, or whatever his name is, I can't tell, who left a long time ago to get milk and never came back. Loa is the most adorable, friendly, and funny assassin you'll ever find. He belongs to the famous Zoldyck family of assassins who carry out dangerous orders to kill. But that didn't interest him, so he stabbed his mom and brother and ran away. He wants to become a hunter, partly because he thinks it sounds fun, but mostly because he gets to stare at Gon. Kurapika is the one that people love to bully because of his name. But honestly, I don't understand why people make fun of him. I love Koopa Poopa. He's the last surviving member of the Kurta clan, a clan that was brutally murdered by a group of thieves called the Phantom Troop. He wants to become a hunter to get vengeance. Although he may sound like the edgy member of the team, he's very caring and sweet, and the mom of the group. He enjoys hanging out with friends, training, and tending to his lush, blonde Kurapika Cobain hair. And finally, Leorio is the person that provides most of the comedy to the show. He's most likely Kurapika's husband. Also, plot twist, Jing isn't actually Gon's dad. Kurapika and Leorio gave birth to him. Although he's a big comic relief character, he's still just as interesting and endearing as the others, and it's really nice seeing his smart strategies and tactics such as messing up his team to look at some cooch. The story, like I said earlier, hooks me pretty much immediately. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, hunters are extremely skilled people that take on near impossible tasks. However, to become one, you have to pass an extremely tough physical and strategic exam, the Hunter exam. This is an exam that the main characters all take, as well as where they all meet. It may seem like your average shonen story. Character wants to be a blank, so he blanks. But it isn't so much the actual basic synopsis that's the interesting part of it. It's the Hunter exam itself. The Hunter exam consists of multiple stages, which just get more and more interesting as they go on. But it's not just like a series of challenges, it's how the world building happens. Hunter x Hunter's world is one of many fantastical beasts and monsters, a world with many different cultures and landmarks that are discovered as the anime progresses. It's almost addicting to watch these fictional characters perform crazy, near-impossible tasks, all while discovering new things about this interesting world. Think of the Hunter exam like the Hunger Games. There are a lot of challenges and stuff they have to face, and the world building progresses. Okay, was that a good comparison? I don't know. I kind of made the connection when I was watching. I don't know about you guys. Speaking of the challenges, they, of course, are some of the best parts as well. Like I said, they get more and more interesting as they progress, and they're so hype and action-packed. Characters show off their abilities, their true natures are revealed, battles to the death happen, and there's constant danger and surprise. I'd explain the challenges, but I don't want to ruin the experience for a person that hasn't watched the anime yet, and I'd also take forever. But it wouldn't be a good shonen anime without a creepy and mysterious villain, and Hunter x Hunter has just that. Hisoka is the main villain of the series, or first arc, I guess? I'm not sure. His power is creating 14-year-old straight white girls on Instagram who simp for him and defend his pedophilic actions. Hisoka is my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter. He's so hot. He's literally a pedo. No, he's not! He got aroused and literally nutted when fighting Gon. And yes, I've seen this part by now. Sorry for putting off videos for so long. But it's only because he likes fighting. He's not a pedo, he just gets a boner on fighting. He got horny when Gon looked at him? He was only excited because he was going to fight him. He literally stared at Gon and Killua's asses. There was a reason for that, but I, forgot. I have to go, bye! Not only is Hisoka literally a pedo, he also isn't even hot. He looks like a pale, crusty fucking clown. Ronald McDonald looking ass. Also, we all know that if Hisoka looked like Tanpa, the fangirls wouldn't defend him and would hate on him. Anyways, I went on a bit of a rant there. The point is, Hisoka is interesting because he's a creepy and mysterious villain. So yeah, as you can tell, I absolutely love this story and most of the characters. So now let's talk about other categories, such as music, voice acting, and art. The animation was done by Studio Madhouse. Studio Madhouse before they became garbage. Rest in peace, you beautiful Studio U. Pre-Disaster Madhouse is known for animating many other popular series, such as Death Note, One Punch Man, Parasite, and Beck. Their animation was great for all of those. Well, Beck's wasn't their best, but it was still decent. Luckily, the same quality of animation seen in One Punch Man is present here too. The animation is fast and fluid, and the art and character designs are bright, unique, and colorful. It's basically just perfect art all around. As for the music, the OST is phenomenal. It's composed by Yoshihisa Hirano, who also provided the OSTs for many famous anime such as Death Note, Ouran High School Host Club, and Hajime no Ippo. He did an amazing job of providing the whimsical and fantasy-like music that perfectly suits all of the scenes and characters, and he's probably now one of my favorite anime composers ever. A few of my favorite tracks were The World of Adventurers, Gon's theme, Hisoka's theme, and Hunter March. As for the opening and ending themes, both are great. I'm especially glad that they chose a good opening because they decided to make it the opening for every single episode. For the ending theme, they got my favorite 90s emo metal rock band, 148 Days Grace, to perform. No, but seriously. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas did a great job with the Hunter x Hunter ending, just like they did with the Parasite opening. The last thing I want to talk about with this anime is the voice acting in both the sub and dub. I actually watched the sub for this anime even though I usually watch dubs, but the voice actors for Gon and Killua are Megumi Han and Maria Ise, so I mean, come on. But although Gon and Killua's voices are great, I'd say the star of the show here is Daisuke Namikawa as Hisoka. As much as I hate Hisoka, the dude did an amazing job of portraying the creepy yet gentle voice that perfectly suits him. It's crazy how it's impossible to detect the fear in his voice, given how he was probably forced at gunpoint to moan and say, "Oh, God," to the mic. In conclusion, Hunter x Hunter is amazing, even just in its opening arc. It's crazy how it pulls you in right at the start instead of taking episodes or even seasons to really start. This show is an absolute masterpiece so far, and it's already jumped to my third favorite anime of all time. In my opinion, I'd say that it just surpasses Full Metal Alchemist. I know I might get a lot of hate for that, but whatever. But what are number 1 and 2 in my anime rankings? You'll find out eventually. Or you could just check out my anime list profile. Yes, it's time to shamelessly promote my social media. No, just kidding, I'll just finish up the video here. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe for future reviews of the future arcs of Hunter x Hunter and other anime, as well as funny skits, lists, discussions, memes, and more. So with that, thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay tuned for a secret scene at the end. This was my first review on the channel, and if you enjoyed it, I'd be really grateful if you subscribed. Of course, I'll be making more reviews and more in-depth videos on the channel. On a side note, for some reason it feels really weird that my first video that's a review on this channel will be a 10 out of 10. I don't know, I just feel like most reviewer channels give like, I don't know, they review an anime or whatever, and they give it an 8 out of 10 for the first video or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. Bye. Alright, well, I just finished the Zoldyck family arc, and I loved it. Well, time to write a video script. What did you just say? Whoa, I was, going to review the Zoldyck family arc? You know, the second arc of Hunter x Hunter? No, you're confused. There's no such thing as the Zoldyck family arc. It goes Hunter Exam, then Heaven's Arena. What? No, there's a short arc between them. Don't you remember it? No, you're confused. There's no such fucking thing as the Zoldyck family arc. It goes Hunter Exam, then Heaven's fucking Arena. Yeah, of course I knew that. Well, time to not write a view on Zoldyck family. Hunter x Hunter is back, and this time, it's about the experiences of the 4 main characters after the events of the first arc. Now, a problem that I know a lot of shonen anime face is that they run out of ideas after the main conflict or goal is solved. But this was not the case for Hunter x Hunter. Instead, it introduced a whole new goal for the characters, gave us some more of the great world building that was present in the first arc, and more great and some not so great characters, and even a whole new battle system. But did it live up to the sheer greatness of the first arc? Without further ado, let's find out. Hunter x Hunter, no, wait. Hunter Heaven's Hunter Arena, oh wait. Hunter x Hunter's Heaven's Arena arc follows the events of the Hunter Exam arc and the apparently non-existent Zoldyck family arc. After the events of Killua, Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika made a pact to meet up again on September 1st in definitely not New York City. So Gon and Killua separate from Leorio and Kurapika, and then they shortly find out a terrifying and shocking truth. They're broke. Yep, so Gon and Killua have basically no money, but luckily Killua has an idea. The idea to participate in the Heaven's Arena tournament, where they can win up to 200 million bucks. Which is only slightly more than the number of subscribers I have. Killua also notes that this would be a great place for him and Gon to practice their training, but they're only in it for the money because our beloved protagonists are greedy capitalists. No, I'm joking, of course. So, after completely kicking ass, Gon and Killua keep on rising up higher and higher in the tall tower that's Heaven's Arena. They also meet a boy named Sushi and his master, Buffalo Wild Wings, who train using Nen, which is a huge plot point I'll get to later. But it honestly seems like Gon and Killua are unstoppable. I mean, they've reached the 200th floor, and it doesn't seem like there's a single opponent that can— For fuck's sake, not you again. So, Pedosoka is blocking the way to the battle register like a little bitch using his Nen, which, oh yeah, again, I'll get to that later. The worst part is, Gon and Killua have to register before midnight, and if they don't, then they'll have to start their entire arena journey over. And not only that, but if Gon and Killua do not register that night, then Killua will never be allowed to participate again, because when he was a kid, he had done this contest, and he quit at the final floor, so his commitment would definitely be questioned. And now, here's where I'll tell you about Nen. The four main practices of Nen are Ren, Ten, Ken, Wen, Ben, Gwen. The four main practices of Nen are Ren, Ten, Hatsu, and Zetsu. Anyways, Gon and Killua 80% speedrun the Nen test, and they make it back to the arena just in time to sign up. Now, I'm not just going to recount the entire plot for my review, so here's where I'm going to stop. So, in short, Nen is a whole new battle system now. It's basically applied to every single battle now, and unfortunately, this is where I started having some slight problems with the story of this arc. Now, if for some reason you skipped the first part of the series and skipped right to this one, you know that I absolutely loved the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, and I even gave it a 10 out of 10. I had basically no problems with it, and I basically just praised it for, 12 and a half minutes. Wow. I felt that this arc, though, was a bit weaker. Don't get me wrong, I still loved the arc. It's just, I did have some problems with it. First off, the new battle system. One of the things that I actually liked about the application of Nen stuff to the story was how forms of Nen were used in the previous arc without us even knowing. For example, Killua's fight with Illumi when Gon concealed his presence, and even when Hisoka exerted his, boner energy. I thought it was really cool when the callbacks were made, and it was really genius stuff from Yoshihiro Takashi's end. But for me, it was kinda tough to figure out all the stuff at first. I felt like the show just threw a bunch of new terms and abilities at us all of a sudden and expected us to figure them out super early, which I did not. Maybe this isn't entirely the show's fault, because if I was Japanese, I'd probably understand the terms a bit more. And since the series was made by a Japanese man, it's kind of unfair for me to blame that. So I guess I can't blame the show for that. But sadly, that wasn't it. The other problem I had was that I felt like I didn't really live up to the amount of suspense and excitement that the first arc had. Yep, I answered the question I asked at the beginning. Video over. But in all seriousness, I'll explain why I thought this. For me, the first arc felt so addicting and fun and had so much crazy and interesting stuff happen, whereas with this one, it just kind of felt like your basic tournament arc, aside from some interesting moments like the reveal of the Phantom Thieves member and Gon and Hisoka's fight. Although the world building was still present and introduced many key things such as Nen and the Heaven's Arena, it just didn't feel as huge as it did in the first arc. But luckily, those were my only gripes, and although they may seem big, they didn't take away from my enjoyment of the show. I just didn't think it was as outstanding as the masterpiece the first arc was. Aside from that though, the characters, animation, music, and voice acting are still great. Our beloved main characters have split up, so Leorio and Kurapika have been replaced by Zushi and Wing. This wasn't a problem for me though, because I love Mr. Infodump and his trusty student plot device. That was a joke. I loved Wing and Zushi. They were fun characters. Although they might have not been as in-depth and interesting as those of our temporarily missing favorites, they were still super cool to learn about. But there were new villains introduced as well. Machi is the name of the mysterious first revealed member of the Phantom Troupe, and she possesses an interesting healing power that uses Nen. Kito, Sagisu, and Revolt are powerful fighters that are willing to kidnap and blackmail to get to the top of the arena. Kito had the ability to beat Gon, so I bet the trio are gonna have a tough time facing them, and that these will be reoccurring villains. Never mind. As for the animation, the quality is still as amazing as ever, and that's a huge relief, because a lot of times animating companies will just rely on the name of a popular series, so they can just nab the money and not put a lot of work into the sequels. And finally, the music is as great as ever, and we have a new ending theme and kind of a new opening theme. The new ending theme, Hunting for Your Dream, sounds like it was sung by every single 80s metal hair band, and I love it. Hunting for your dream! Okay, let's be honest, I fucking nailed it. I'll have you know that I actually tried to sing the full song for this part and absolutely fried my vocal cords, so I wasn't able to record for like a few days. You're welcome. Anyways, enough about the ending theme. The new opening theme is Departure. Again. Okay, so this is going to sound weird, but it's not actually the completely same opening. So it's the same song, but it has like completely different visuals and lyrics, but it's pretty much the same song because it's still the same rhythm and stuff. But here's the thing, Departure is a great opening, so I doubt I'll get tired of hearing it for the next 112 episodes. So yeah, that was basically all I had to say about the second arc of Hunter x Hunter. This review was not as long as the first one, since I didn't have as much to say, but I hope you guys still enjoyed. So, as you guys could probably tell, I didn't like this arc as much as the first one, but I still loved it. I hope that the next arc, Yorknew City, is better than both the first and second ones. Speaking of Yorknew City, be sure to look out for my review of that one once I finish it. Or even better, subscribe so you get notified when it comes out. With all that said, thank you for watching, have a great day, love you, goodbye. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. So yeah, I am so sorry this took so long. In my update video, I explained that I was just kind of being lazy, I wasn't really keeping track of the channel at all, and I just really want to apologize for that. But I am happy to say that I finally have an upload schedule now, and the third video in the series will definitely come out sooner. Again, thanks for watching. Goodbye. For some reason, I can't shake the feeling that I forgot to talk about something very controversial in this part. Nope, I don't think I missed anything. But I am happy to say that I finally have an upload schedule now, and the third video in the series will definitely come out sooner. Whoops.
Hello everyone and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bizaster and I have some good and some bad news. Good news, the construction on my house is finally done. Bad news, it does not mean I'll be getting my desk back because apparently my parents are using it now, which I was not aware of.
Oh no,
What?
No, this white 16-year-old has to sit in a different part of his room.
So we are stuck in this current recording situation, which is great because I have the least decorative wall of all time over here, and obviously I did not anticipate such a massive change in the way I would be recording, so all of my cool posters and stuff are on the other wall. So I hope you like this blank, boring, white room as much as I do. But the other good news is that, yep, you read the title correctly, I am bringing back the Hunter x Hunter review series. And the bad news is that it took me almost 2 years to do that. But I know you'll be able to forgive me, because I have reasons. I have reasons for why it's been delayed for so long. I know a lot of people, I hope, have been looking forward to part 3 of this, so I just want to clear it up, you know, just have some explanation as to why it hasn't released for a long time. I haven't been busy at all. There's been nothing stopping me from recording this video. I've had the script written for a while now, and I got a new haircut. Wait, what do you mean those aren't valid reasons? But yeah, all jokes aside, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to it. I'm glad you decided to click on this video to join me along on this ride. And speaking of this being a ride, we have already had 2 pit stops already, those being the first 2 parts of this review series. In this video, I will be reviewing the Yorknew City arc of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. The first 2 videos review the Hunter exam arc and the Heaven's Arena arc. So if you have not seen those yet, it's probably a good idea to go and catch up on those. Oh, and of course I will link those videos in the description so you can access them easily. Actually, one second. Disaster Hunter x Hunter review.
Hello everybody, Disaster here, and today I'll be talking about the first arc of Hunter x Hunter.
So yeah, like I was saying, keep in mind that watching the first 2 videos is, you know, you don't have to do it. It's completely optional. You don't have to. Welcome to Yorknew City. It's like New York City, but without a weed stand around every corner and the worst drivers imaginable. I'm sorry, New Yorkers, but I have been there. But before we talk more about that, let's get back to what our beloved main characters are doing. After finishing up with his business at Heaven's Arena, Gon returns home to Whale Island for the first time since the Hunter exam. Kito also accompanies him because, well, you know. Upon getting back, Aunt Mito shows Gon a mysterious box that Jing left for him. And for those who don't remember, Jing is Gon's dad, who named Gon after what he currently is. After some trial and error, Kito and Gon managed to get the box open, revealing 3 items: a videotape, a memory card, and a ring. The videotape is pretty much just a video of Jing being like, "Hey bitch, catch me if you can," so it's not important and we don't really need to talk about it. The memory card and the ring, on the other hand, are both very important. Kito was able to determine that the memory card is one belonging to a Joy Station console, and I wonder where they got that name from. And after buying a console and inserting the memory card into it, they find that the only game listed on it is a game called Greed Island. As for the ring, it's pretty much a key to get into said game. Gon and Kito set out to learn more about Greed Island, and later find out that the game is super rare and expensive. But since Gon is trying to find his dad and the game is most likely a clue, he's still determined to get it, and he gets a lucky break after finding out that it's being auctioned off in Yorknew City. Unfortunately, the starting bid for the game is $8.9 billion, and the two realize that to get their hands on a copy of Greed Island, they're going to have to come across a fuck ton of money.
100,000?
As for the whereabouts of our other 2 main characters, Kurapika is actually in Yorknew City, working as a bodyguard for the Nostrade family. Late Nostrade, the father in the family, is the head of a mafia group that plays a huge part in the Yorknew City auctions. Since Kurapika's goal is to retrieve the eyes of his fallen fellow Kurta clan members, which are being sold at the auction, he plans to use this opportunity as a way to get closer to his goal. On the other hand, our final main character, Leorio, doesn't have any time for any mafia or revenge business. Why? Because he's already too busy staying on that hustling Sigma male grind. Holy shit, I can't even say that without laughing. In all seriousness though, Leorio's goals pretty much just coincide with Gon and Kito was during this arc,
since Gon and Kilo need to make money for Greed Island, and no one's better at making money than Leorio. I mean, I'm serious, his theme song is literally called All I Want Is Money. This arc is pretty much a Kurapika-centric arc, though. Anyways, now that I've finished explaining the goals of the characters for this arc, let's talk about what I thought about it. And I'm just going to come right out and say it now. I thought that this arc was amazing. In the earlier episodes of it, I'll admit that I was kinda nervous as to how it would all play out, especially with this arc coming hot off the heels of Heaven's Arena. Just in case you didn't watch my first 2 videos on this series, I'll do a quick recap for you. I gave the Hunter exam arc a perfect 10 out of 10, saying that it was not only a perfect start for the series, but also that it was awesome and exciting because of the world building, characters, and crazy, humanly impossible feats. However, I gave the Heaven's Arena arc an 8 out of 10, because while I still enjoyed it because of Kilo and Gon's interactions, the awesome fights, and an interesting premise, I felt that the world building was almost completely absent, and having Leorio and Kurapika missing from the arc was a huge downgrade. So when Yorknew City was shaping up to be an arc focusing for the most part on just one character, I felt like I was just in for another Heaven's Arena repeat, but luckily I was proven wrong. In my opinion, the Yorknew City arc was a perfect return to form for Hunter x Hunter. The problem with Heaven's Arena didn't lie completely in the absence of major characters. It also felt that it was a training or competition arc as opposed to the life or death situations and risky strategies we had seen before, and it pretty much only took place in a single area. So Kurapika infiltrating the Mafia and dealing with the Phantom Troop in a whole new environment, that sounded exciting, and it absolutely fucking was. Yorknew City, the actual location, is a perfect place for insanely rich people and criminal masterminds, or both, and the not ideal location for, well, practically everyone else. And since Kurapika is a complete outsider, seeing him handle situations here felt refreshing and exciting. Not only do we discover a completely new location here, but we also learn shit about it. Like how there's a whole history of crime in the city and how it pretty much just runs it. The most notable aspect of Yorknew City, however, is that it's where the Phantom Troop's hideout is, which is actually part of the reason that Kurapika is trying to land a job there. And if you're thinking that a wealthy city and a notorious group of killers with inhuman strength don't mix, then you would be right. Oh, and since this is the first time we actually meet the Phantom Troop, I'll introduce each of the characters. You've got the boss, crusty forehead man, who everyone thinks is hot for some reason, Samurai Champloo, E-Boy, the one guy who you didn't realize is Killua sibling, blonde guy, ears guy, hair guy, nose girl, not you again, gays, and lesbians. I mean, have you seen their official art? On a different topic though, seeing all of the characters again is a huge part of what made this arc so stellar for me. It's been a while since I've watched the Heaven's Arena arc, so I don't remember everything from it, but I'm like 95% sure that Kurapika and Leorio weren't even in it, like, at all, and that was part of the reason I didn't like it as much as the first arc, where all of the characters were together. Although Kurapika technically isn't in the main character group with Gon, Killua, and Leorio, he definitely feels like part of it, as he's essentially the main character of this arc, and he does end up joining up with them later. Speaking of which, I should introduce Kurapika's group as well. You've got Macho Man, she's a femme fatale, Curious George. Oh my god, it is so nice to see a black character in this series. Like, I'm not even going to make a silly little stupid fucking joke for this one, because it's always such a breath of fresh air to see a character in anime who isn't white, or doesn't look like a white person at least. Oh, and of course you have the worst fucking character. I don't care how nice she is, she has the ugliest fucking character design of all fucking time. Fucking bucktooth nerd emoji, fucking receding hairline, fucking looking ass. God. Oh, and also Squalla, the black character, has a super cute relationship with this one girl, and I wish it was talked about more. While watching this arc, I felt the same amount of excitement I did watching the Hunter exam arc. Like I said, it felt like a real return to form for the series. The only real complaints I have about it are that Gon, Killua, and Leorio's screen time mainly consisted of them finding out about Greed Island and trying to make money for the first half, and that I feel like Kurapika maybe could have interacted more with the rest of the main cast, even if his lone wolf revenge plot and interactions with the side characters were nice. Plus, I can't really blame Kurapika for not wanting to take part in the quest to find a rare video game because trust me, going to GameStop is never fun, and I also can't blame him for not wanting to get like little 12-year-olds involved with the fucking like mafia. But also Leorio is not a 12-year-old, he's the same age as Kurapika, and they have all been through some shit and will go through more shit as you'll see in the later arcs I'll be reviewing. As for the other categories like the art and music, everything I have to say about it, I have pretty much already said in previous videos. But then again, the most recent out of the two previous videos is almost 2 years old, so I'll cover the non-story aspects again here. The art and animation, done by Studio Madhouse before their flop era, is just as great as ever. Although I really enjoyed seeing cool, nature-filled environments drawn for the first two arcs, I still absolutely love seeing more gritty urban backdrops, as well as lit-up buildings and stuff that remind me of actual New York City. As for the animation quality, it's still just as stunning and impressive as always, especially during scenes like the Auction Massacre and Kurapika's fight with Uvogene. The music in Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite non-story or character-related aspects of the show, and I was glad to see that it was still awesome and memorable here, even if I do kinda miss the songs from the first arc. As for the opening and ending themes, they actually kept using Hunting for Your Dream for this arc for some reason. I'm not complaining, the song is fucking great.
Hunting for your dream!
A sentiment I also expressed in my previous video, but the song definitely fit the Heaven's Arena arc more, and it did not fit some scenes in particular, let me just say that.
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
The opening theme used is probably going to surprise you. Departure. Bet you didn't see that one coming. And for anyone wondering whether or not I'm going to mention this opening in every video about this series, yes, I absolutely will. Anyways, for this arc, they brought back the first version of the song, which I was pretty happy about because I prefer it to the second version, which is still good, by the way, but I'm used to singing the first version, and it kind of throws me off when it changes. Speaking of which, in this arc of the series, they started doing this thing where they cycle through the two versions of Departure with every arc. I'm not exactly sure why, but I mean, it's worth mentioning, I guess. Moving on to the voice acting, it's just as great as it was before, if not better. I've already talked about how much I love Megumi Han as Gon and Maria Issei as Killua, but with characters like Kurapika, Leorio, and Hisoka having much more prominent roles in this arc, I've grown to appreciate their portrayals more too, even if I hate Hisoka. Miyuki Sawashiro does a great job as Kurapika, Daisuke Namikawa does a great job as Hisoka, as I've stated before, and the late Keiji Fujiwara, who sadly passed away in 2020, plays Leorio extremely well. But we also have some newcomers in the already stellar voice acting department, with the standout being Mamoru Miyano as Chrollo. Chrollo is the leader of the Phantom Troop, and I hate his ugly ass forehead and his annoying ass simps. But I have to admit that he is an awesome villain, and I think that his voice actor should start making those fucking ASMR videos, the whispering ones, you know what I'm talking about.
And that is pretty much all I had to say about the Yorknew City arc of Hunter x Hunter without spoiling anything too big. If it felt like I was just scratching the surface of how great it was, I'm really sorry about that. I wanted to get more into details, but I'm planning to have all of these reviews stay semi-spoiler free, and it's hard to get into story territory without at least some significant spoilers. Anyways, before I wrap up the video, I'll give my final rating on Hunter x Hunter's Yorknew City arc. And this may have been obvious, but I'm giving it a perfect score of a 10 out of 10. Although I wouldn't say it was quite on the level of the first arc, because honestly, I have watched the whole show by now, and it's pretty hard to top that. It was absolutely close to being just that, and like I said, it was a satisfying return to form for Hunter x Hunter. And so with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and also please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing this video with a friend, subscribing, and all of that shit. And again, I'm sorry I put off this review series for so long. Have a great day. This has been Disaster, and I will see you in another 2 years. Bye.
Hey everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I am sorry it took so long for me to drop it. I have a lot of cool stuff planned. I hope you're looking forward to that. Of course, subscribe if you want to, get notified about when all of it's coming out. So stay tuned. Of course, I will be continuing this series very soon. Please don't expect me to delay it so long again. Alright, bye. Oreo, please come back to bed and stop trying to be a Sigma male or whatever. You're scaring Gon and Keel.
Sigma male hopefully tips to always stay on the grind. Wake up at 3 a.m. and take a bath in ice water. Eat a terrific protein powder.
I love pressing button. Yes.
Hey, you.
Yeah?
You look like you're getting pretty bored with that game.
Oh, no, I'm actually having a lot of fun.
Silence, twink.
Oh, okay.
You know what you should be playing instead? The hottest game on the market right now.
Okay, what's that?
Greed Island.
Well, tell me about it.
It's an online multiplayer action-adventure game.
Well, that sounds fun.
And if you die in it, you die in real life.
Wait, what?
And also, it's $8 billion.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound enticing at all.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid fucking himbo. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Look, I'm sorry. I have a really short temper and I feel like it just keeps getting worse.
Do you want to talk about it?
Nah, it's fine. It's a real struggle, you know?
Hey, it's okay. I'm here.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Did you forget where you were going with this skit?
Yeah. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Outer Space. As always, I'm an alien coming to probe your anus. Have you guys ever heard of the 2011 anime Hunter x Hunter? Yeah, me neither, but this is an ongoing review series about that series, so if you want to catch up on the 3 previous parts, check it out in the link above. But before I jump into this video, I first want to thank you guys for helping me get my last video in the series to well over 200 views. It means so much for me. I was so glad that it did so well, and it motivated me even more than I was already motivated to make this video. But enough about the previous video, let's focus on this video. Today, I will be reviewing the Greed Island arc of Hunter x Hunter.
The Greed Island arc picks up where Yorknew left off, with Gon and Killua going to the Southern Peace auction to get the Greed Island video game. Instead of planning to actually buy the game at the auction, the two plan to let someone else win, and then enter the game for them, which makes sense because I doubt they would be able to afford it. The game ends up being purchased by a multi-billionaire named Britell, and Gon and Killua go to ask him if they can play it for him. And after they prove that their Nen abilities are strong enough, Britell enlists these children to risk their lives for him. When the two boys enter the game, we learn the rules for it. You explore, battle people, and cast spells with the goal of collecting 100 restricted cards to win. And also, Jing leaves a message for Gon telling him that he won't find any clues, much less himself there, and that he just wanted to show that this game he made with his friend was pretty cool. So in other words, he was just fucking with him.
So, let's get it for Father of the Year, everyone. Yep, Father of the Year, Father...
But despite everything in the game seeming relatively normal, well, I mean, aside from the whole dying in real life thing, but, whatever, not everything is as it seems. Gon and Killua find one of the hired players dead, a suspicious-seeming man wants them to join an alliance, and they're being stalked by a mysterious little girl. And the Phantom Troop managed to get their hands on a copy of the game. A stolen one, but still. And I also dropped my phone during this recording. Okay, fuck me. After a little while of participating in tournaments and winning stuff, the two boys are approached by the little girl, who asks them to join them in a monster defeating challenge, but they deny her request. Meanwhile, the Phantom Troop enters the game and discovers that they may not actually be in a game at all, it might be a real place. Also, just a quick and unrelated thing before I continue this video, when I was finding that footage that I just used,
I realized how fucking funny the difference between some Hunter x Hunter content on YouTube is. Like, fucking just look at this, which was in my recommended. Killua's journey to self-worth.
Killua's life contest.
Back to Gon and Killua, though, the two continue throughout the game, with the little girl from earlier trailing them despite the refusal of her request. Because, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this arc is also the start of Killua's misogyny arc. They continue to encounter monsters, each seemingly more strong than the last, and the two boys quickly realize that their Nen abilities may not be strong enough to defeat every enemy that comes their way. That's when the girl declares that she will be their mentor and help train them. Except Gon and Killua also say no to this request, stating that they already have a mentor, Buffalo Wild Wings from the Heaven's Arena arc. This is when the girl introduces herself as Biscuit Kruger, Bisky for short, a 40-year-old woman who is Wingstop's mentor. Oh my fucking god, 40-year-old woman. Jesus fucking Christ. Look, I love this show and I love Yoshihiro Togashi, but can anime please stop fucking doing this? Gon and Killua eventually agree to letting Bisky be their mentor, and together they do some pretty basic and common training regimens, such as fighting an enemy for 2 weeks straight, and breaking 1,000 rocks with a single stone with a 1-day time limit. Yeah, I remember doing some stuff like that last year in PE. But just as you think Greed Island is shaping up to be a training arc, you get thrown in for a loop. Remember the suspicious-seeming alliance that tried to recruit Gon and Killua earlier in the arc? Yeah, well, it turns out that they aren't bad people. The bad person is Genthru, a serial bomber who casually fucking kills most of the Alliance members, steals their restricted cards, of which they had 90, and forces the surviving members to be part of his team. So at this point, it's become pretty clear that Greed Island isn't exactly a normal game. You can die in real life by playing it, there's a fucking serial bomber on the loose, and there's a shit ton of mystery surrounding the island, such as whether or not it's just a game, completely and entirely disconnected from reality, or if it's a real-life location. And because I started this series with the purpose of reviewing Hunter x Hunter without spoiling too much, I'll stop there and move on to talking about what I enjoyed and what I did not enjoy about this arc. The Greed Island arc has sort of a mixed reception of sorts among fans of the series, though most of them, at the very least, find some enjoyment out of it. I personally really enjoyed it, even for some of the reasons that people either dislike it or don't enjoy it as much. Some people are critical of the arc because in comparison to the other arcs in the show, it feels sort of out of place and doesn't have extremely high stakes. Some people also believe that the villain is kinda lame, and that sort of has to do with the high stakes as well. And while I do agree that the arc is kinda out of place in comparison to the rest of the series, I think it's a perfect cooldown arc, especially given how it's following one of the most intense arcs in the show and preceding what will probably be the most unforgivingly brutal one to talk about. While Greed Island wasn't exactly as gripping or invigorating as the other arcs in the series, it was still a very fun and enjoyable watch, with an interesting story improved by cool lore and a fake video game with an entire role system set up just for this arc, which I should mention did not even span 20 episodes. Yoshihiro Togashi could have gotten away with doing the absolute bare minimum, but no, he decided to put his absolute pussy into it instead. While I do feel like the idea of a whole entire arc set in a video game was kinda gimmicky, and to be honest, it really was at times, my admiration of the dedication put into making it strongly overshadows that feeling. Not to mention, it does the whole you can die in real life thing a million times better than Sword Art Online before it even started. And I think that the fact that a 17 episode long segment of a 148 episode long show is better than a show that uses that premise and is long running, it really says a lot about Sword Art Online. And yes, I will be talking about it at a later time because holy shit, I need to make a whole video complaining about that show. As for the characters, our beloved protagonists, as well as the other reoccurring characters, are still great as ever, and as for the new characters, I liked them too. Bisky was kind of annoying at times, but she was kind of supposed to be, and the other new characters didn't feel very important to the series, but they were still good. The only complaint I really have is that Genthru, like a lot of people say, was kind of a stupid villain. In fact, a lot of the conflict taking place in the arc just felt a little bit dumb. I know it was like a life or death situation, but it taking place in a video game definitely watered it down a little bit. The music, unsurprisingly, is still fantastic. The soundtrack never gets old. You know what else never gets old? The opening theme, Departure. And, by the way, it's the first version that's used in this arc, so yay. The ending theme for this arc, Reason, was okay. It's a decent enough song, but I'm not gonna lie, I skipped it a lot when I was watching the show, and I think the main reason why I didn't like it as much is because compared to other endings, like Just Awake and Hunting for Your Dream, it felt kind of boring and underwhelming. I mean, following up 2 alternative metal songs with a folk pop song is a pretty ballsy move. But aside from that, the voice acting was also great, and yeah. Moving on to the art and animation, it's as incredible as ever, and I was super happy to see all the vibrant and colorful environments and character designs again, even if I liked all of the gritty urban backdrops of Yorknew City. I think that the absolute highlight of the animation in this arc, and actually just kind of the arc as a whole, was the dodgeball scene, which I've got to say is probably my second favorite dodgeball scene in any form of media. First place going to Billy Madison, of course.
Now you're all in big trouble.
And with all of that said and done, I would normally move on to the criticism, but honestly, I really enjoyed this arc, and most of the stuff that I wanted to criticize it for, I've already covered. The only really big and genuine problem with the arc is the concept of them being in a life or death video game, which wasn't exactly my favorite, but even then, that sometimes worked in the show's favor. And that is pretty much all I have to say about the Greed Island. Hey, wait a minute. What the hell is this? Could it be
A new desk?
Yeah, that new desk joke was originally going to be a hell of a lot funnier because I was originally going to like show the desk but then move the camera over to the box that the desk came in and be like, oh, a new desk, and then use that box as the desk in the video, which would have been really funny. I'm a very funny guy, as you guys know, but I'm not sure where the box is and I'm too lazy to find it, so sorry, you got the less funny version of the joke. That also is partially not a joke. I literally just got this desk the day I decided to film this part, so wow, that is pretty awesome. Though, not gonna lie, I am gonna miss having some of my stuff displayed over there, but I can move it around at some point when I'm not lazy, so give me a few years. But as I was saying, that is pretty much all I have to say about the Greed Island arc of Hunter x Hunter, except for the score I'm going to give it. I personally really enjoyed this arc, and I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was very engaging, very entertaining. Even if it is arguably weaker than the other arcs, it's still a very strong one. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means so much to me. I put a lot of work and effort into making it, and if you could consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and all of that stuff, that would be awesome. Maybe we can get this video to even more views than the last one had. And speaking of subscribing, if you do, make sure to turn your post notifications on so you get notified when the next part of this series uploads, which will be the Chimera Ant arc. Hope you enjoyed this video. Did you laugh? Did you have fun? Were you entertained by it? Because you're not gonna be laughing next time. There's not gonna be any smiling next time. I guess there's gonna be like enjoyment next time, because if there isn't, you'll have no desire to watch the video. So there will be some jokes, some enjoyment, I hope, and some smiles. See you guys, have a great day. I need to go back, I need to go fight an astronaut now. Hello everybody, once again thank you so much for watching, and as always, secret scene at the end of the video. I just wanted to take the time again to say I am so close to hitting 500 subs, which is now the requirement for monetization on YouTube, which is fucking awesome, and if you guys could help me get to that goal, I'd be so thankful. Again, I will be working extremely hard on this next video. I hope you're looking forward to it. Put a lot of effort into this one. I'll be putting probably 10 times the effort into the next one. So I'll see you then. Goodbye. Oh shit, I just realized that I forgot to mention the Hunterpedia and Greed Island tutorial post-credit segments in this video and the last one, so let's talk about it here. You've got my favorite ones, like the gay one, the gay one, the gay one, the one where they realized that it was getting too gay, so they unsuccessfully tried to make Killua seem straight, and then the ones where the 12-year-olds are naked, and the accidental blackface ones. You know what? How about we just stop talking about this segment? Yeah, okay, yep. Alright, it's finally time to upload my new video. I'm glad that I'm uploading it in a timely manner. No! Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ant-Man 67. I'm Paul Rudd, and this is the 700th Marvel movie that Disney's put out this week. And we have finally reached it, everyone. We have officially reached what is regarded by most as the best arc of Hunter x Hunter, as well as the darkest. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome, and second of all, this is the 5th video in a relatively spoiler-free review series about the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. So if you want to catch up from the beginning, check out the playlist that's linked above. Fair warning though, I started the series when I was 14, so the first 2 videos...
Hello everybody, Disaster here, and today I'll be talking about the first arc of Hunter x Hunter.
sound like this. So the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter is a pretty insane one, and I had high expectations for it. Not only because it was hyped up by pretty much every fan of this series, but also because it's 61 episodes long, which is a whopping 41% of the full 148 episode series. This was, needless to say, a very bold move by the production team. When you make an arc that takes up almost half of a series, it better be a good one. And yeah, okay, I'll just say it now, I love this arc. And not just because my ex thought that it was overrated and I like it out of spite. I genuinely enjoyed it. If you're watching this video, fuck you. What was this video about? Oh, right, Hunter x Hunter. Yes, I very much enjoyed the Chimera Ant arc, but do I think that it lives up to the hype that it receives? Let's find out. And just a quick message before I get into the actual review. If you aren't subscribed yet, then please consider doing so. I am trying to hit 1K subs by the end of this year. Originally, I was trying to hit 500, but that happened pretty early on, which was awesome. So if we can repeat that same surprising thing that happened with 1K subs this time, I would be so grateful. But without further ado, this is the Chimera Ant. Okay, I know I already put a warning, but just so you're completely aware, since this arc is fucking insane, even the early episodes contain some minor character deaths, which I will be talking about here. So if you want to go into the Chimera Ant arc completely blind, maybe wait to watch this video. Anyways, the Chimera Ant arc picks up where Greed Island left off with the fuck? Gon and Killua transport to the Kakin Empire hoping to find Jing, but they are instead attacked by creepy ant-like monsters. Luckily, a man by the name of Kite saves them, and he's all like, "Hey, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but those monsters I just saved you from? Yeah, those are the Chimera Ants." It turns out that he had actually saved Gon once before in the past, and depending on who you ask, the series really fucked up Kite's introduction by saving a small detail for this point in the series. He then informs Gon and Killua about the Chimera Ant invasion. Basically, these big, creepy, man-eating creatures have been terrorizing the lands, eating people, and wreaking havoc. Kite's mission is to find their queen, and Gon and Killua join him. The three eventually deduce that the queen is located in a place called Not Gonna Lie, so they travel. Meanwhile, in Not Gonna Lie, the queen of the Chimera Ants is injured and resting to heal herself up, especially since she needs to give birth to the new king. She looks at her soldiers and she's like, "I'm hungry as shit. Go get me some humans." So they're, okay. And they end up fighting some little-ass kids, so the queen eats them, rebirths one of them as the first humanoid Chimera Ant, and demands that her soldiers find more humans, making the invasion even deadlier. And what's even worse is that Not Gonna Lie is essentially the Hunter x Hunter equivalent of Amish people, meaning that they're strictly anti-technology, meaning that the rest of the world is completely unaware of this world-threatening invasion. Well, that's not good. Gon, Killua, Kite, and Kite's specifically organized group of the goofiest looking motherfuckers in the series arrive at Not Gonna Lie. Paco and Ponzu arrive at the same time. Remember them from the first arc? Well, it doesn't matter because Paco gets captured by... Okay, look, hear me out.
No.
But hey, at least Ponzu escaped. Fuck! Luckily, before dying, she manages to send an SOS out to Gon and the others. It dawns on Kite that this arc is gonna be fucking crazy, so he's all like, okay, goofy-ass squad, go back to the Hunter Association to relay information. I'm worried about you fully grown adults. Hey, 12-year-olds, let's put a stop to this deadly invasion. So the three move forward with the goal of stopping the queen before she can give birth to the new king, eventually running into Ramon, whose ass gets kicked before Colt, the humanoid ant from earlier, saves his weak ass. After some more fights, which they win thanks to the help of Kite's special ability, gambling, they advance further into the Chimera Ant territory where they are making human meatballs, and Ramot has recovered and unlocked Nen abilities. This makes him the strongest Chimera Ant. For like 5 seconds, because the queen gives birth to the first royal guard, Neferpito, who... Oh god. Me after the lobotomy, honestly. Oh, right, did I mention yet that the Chimera Ants are a little bit very fucked up in the head? I mean, yeah, they're turning humans into meatballs, but in addition to that, fucking Neferpito's probing people's brains. This motherfucker keeps humans naked on leashes and stomps them when they fucking try to talk. And this guy, I have no complaints about, actually. What a beautiful fucking specimen. A lot of people like to cite the brain probing and human pet scenes as the worst and most disturbing instances of the Chimera Ant's behavior, but for me, I'd honestly have to give it to the human meatball shit. Like, could you imagine if we as humans hunted weaker species than us to turn into food for us to eat and processing them in pretty violent fucking ways that are subjects of, you know, lots of fucking controversy? Phew, that'd be weird. Oh, my hot dog's ready. I'll be right back. At the entrance of the Chimera Ant's base, Kite gives Gon Jing's hunter card, telling him to give it to him when he finds him because he had forgotten to give it to him before. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that Kite and Jing knew each other. Oops. Anyways, Kite is like, have I ever told you guys about how much I love having 2 arms? Oh no! Kite forces the 2 boys to retreat as he faces Neferpito alone. They run into the reinforcements that Kite's team called earlier, one of whom is Netero, the current chairman of the Hunter Association. He tells them to leave until they can collect 2 matching tokens, so they leave and... How the fuck do people think that these 2 are not gay? It turns out that in order to get these 2 matching tokens, Gon and Killua have to defeat Moral, this guy's students, and this very normal woman, Palm, calls on Bisky to help train them. And after some unsurprisingly strenuous training, Gon and Killua arrive to fight Sonic and Knuckles. Shoot and Knuckle, the 2 students. Unfortunately, the 2 of them lose, and thanks to Knuckles' Bankruptcy Chapter 7 ability, Gon loses the ability to lose Nen for 30 days. Or in other words, he gets phantom text. I'm gonna kill myself. Meanwhile, in the Chimera Ant's base, pretty much all of the ants have unlocked Nen, so yeah, it looks like the human race is pretty much fucked. But hey, at least the queen hasn't given birth to a royal guard who's gayer than Killua. Fuck! Not too long after, the queen also ends up giving birth to the 3rd and final royal guard. Oh, and the king prematurely. And this king is fucking wild. He comes out of the womb and immediately kills the queen and starts picking off the other Chimera Ants like flies. So at this point in time, humanity's pretty much cooked. Gon can't use his Nen. Killua's sort of going insane. Oh, right, I forgot about that. The Chimera Ants now have 4 ultra-powerful leaders, and Kite is who knows where. This pretty much sets up the story. Well, the main story. Like I said, I won't spoil anything past this point. But even without getting into that, it's clear to see how fucking insane this arc is. When anime fans said that this arc was crazy, they were not lying because holy shit. Like, the mood whiplash between Greed Island and this is pretty fucking wild. No, it's not as dark as series like Black Lagoon, but it's still pretty fucking disturbing. The arc being 61 episodes long may seem like a bit of a stretch, but in all 61 of these episodes, the plot is meticulously developed. Sure, other arcs in the series may have had really interesting setups, but practically everything and everyone is at stake here, and all of the events and setups are just perfectly set up. But as is the case with every anime, it's not just about the story. There are other important categories to consider as well, so let's take a look at those. First of all, the characters. Gon and Killua obviously make their return, but Leorio and Kurapika are once again absent. Normally, this would be a complaint for me, but it allowed for so much development for Gon and Killua, probably the most that we get in the series. Like I said, none of these 61 episodes are wasted. Hell, even previously less significant characters like Netero have some crazy ass moments. Killua's family from the arc that people like to pretend is not an actual arc also makes their return. As for the new characters, Kite, Meruem, Komugi, Colt, and the Royal Guards were all really cool, with a huge emphasis on Meruem and Komugi because their arc was just beautiful. This arc does a fantastic job of making you feel for characters, with the villains being no exceptions, and even when the villains don't have any redemption arcs or touching moments, they never make it feel like the arc just boils down to one side versus the other. The Phantom Troop is fighting the Chimera Ants, who are fighting the Zoldyck family, and so on and so forth. I'd honestly go as far to argue that this arc has the best villains in the series, or at least contains a large amount of the best villains in the series. What I'm trying to say here is that the Chimera Ant of Hunter x Hunter really does not overstay its welcome, and it's honestly the pinnacle of great stories and characters in the series. As for the art and animation, it's as great as ever. The character designs, environments, movement animations, and of course fights are all drawn and animated spectacularly, with the highlights obviously being Netero and Meruem's fight, and Gon's infamous fight with Neferpito. I also do want to give a special shout out to the Chimera Ant designs, because even the most background character Chimera Ants that never even get used in fights or anything have really unique designs, and I just find that really cool. And the best part, this is the one anime where manga readers cannot annoy you with the "oh, it looked better in the manga" argument, because it absolutely did not. Hey, I promise that this is a joke. I respect the hell out of Yoshihiro Togashi, and I know that making a manga, especially such a long one, is hard work. The music is also fantastic. The opening theme, you are never gonna guess the joke I'm about to make. Are you ready? Alright, here it goes. The opening theme for this arc is Departure. Wow, we sure haven't heard that one before, am I right? Thank you. Jokes aside though, as always, the opening slaps, even though I like the second version, the one that's used here, slightly less than the normal one. As for the ending themes, the first one we have is Nagareboshi Kirari by Yuzu, which is pretty good. It's decent, but that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Now, as for the second, Sugiru Kurasani Meyo Sanata Hyori Itai Yukide Hajugu. Yeah, I mean, it's kinda good. But no, seriously, the second ending for this arc, Hyori Itai by, well, Yuzu again, actually, is fucking incredible. And the best part is that all of these opening and ending themes perfectly fit the arc. But even beyond that, the OST is still fucking phenomenal. The pre-existing tracks are as great as ever, and the new ones are just as incredible and iconic, with the highlights obviously being the Kingdom of Predators theme, which has been used in so many memes that you may have forgotten that it was even from this series, and the Boys Be Courageous track, because that's the song I like to use whenever I get angry about things in my videos. Okay, maybe iconic's not the right descriptor for that one, because who the fuck watches my videos? A brilliant story, brilliant characters, brilliant art, brilliant music. Is there even anything to hate about this arc? Well, sort of. Before I start yapping though, please keep in mind that this is 1, a pretty minor complaint in the grand scheme of things, and 2, just my opinion. Remember when I said that this arc spent each of its 61 episodes doing something important? I really did mean that, but the problem with it is that it often led to slow segments and episodes dedicated to fleshing out the plot, especially in the earlier episodes. I'm not anti-slow burn at all, really, but there's only so much my ADHD-riddled ass can take. The reason why I'd call this a very minor issue with the series, though, is because 1, like I said earlier, the slow burn segments were, most of the time, super necessary to the development of the plot and characters. And 2, by the time the arc was over, I ended up realizing that I wished it wasn't yet. Oh, and 3, this was one of the complaints my ex had about the series, and I'm a spiteful bitch, so... Well, that's pretty much all I had to say about the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, and given how I spent most of the time dick riding it and barely any time criticizing it, I'm sure it comes as no surprise that I'm awarding this arc a 10 out of 10. But with all of that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I spent a lot of time making it, so like I said earlier, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider liking, sharing, commenting, and of course subscribing, so you don't miss the last video in this series where I cover the final arc of Hunter x Hunter. I hope you have a great day, and as always, wait a minute, what's the last arc in this series again? I'm an old man.
I am also an old man.
Yeah, good job me, that joke's gonna go over well. Hey everyone, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, secret scene later, and as always, I am so sorry for how late I was with this upload, as I always am with this series for some reason. I did not think that this video would be shorter than the Yorknew City one, but then I remembered that I had to cut a lot of shit out of the script because a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about involved major spoilers, and I was already pushing it with the spoilers, so hopefully that explains the length. Hope to catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
き合って
Huh. Damn, I guess it really is the kingdom of predators.
実際の進行能力ならばチードルさん
Hang on, what kind of debate is this? Why is no one talking over each other? Why can I hear the candidates? Why aren't they talking about golf? Why aren't they spewing misinformation? What is going on in this show? Hello everyone, my name is Bizaster, and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. And really quick, can we just talk about how perfectly I timed the upload of this video? Like, the last one I made the joke about the presidential debate at the end, which was before the debate, and I'm making this one after the debate, and the video's about, like, the election arc. Like, I timed this perfectly. Oh, fuck! Oh no, I realized I could have just made the excuse that I was saving it to make better jokes, and I wasn't just being lazy and not uploading the videos in this series in time, no. Anyways, I hope you're doing well, and if you are new to this channel, then I should let you know that this is the 6th and final video in a review series of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. You don't have to check out the first 5 videos, especially the first 2. But I would recommend doing so to completely understand this video. I'll put the full series in the link above. So here's how this video will work. It'll be split into 2 parts. In the first part, I will give you guys my review of the 13th chairman election arc, and in the second part, I'll give you my final thoughts on the full Hunter x Hunter series. But without any further ado, here's the final arc of Hunter x Hunter.
It's actually not the final arc.
The final arc of Hunter x Hunter.
Seriously, there's more stuff in the
The final arc. Last time, we talked about the Chimera Ant arc, which was fun, but the question is, what is the follow-up to the darkest, most intense, and longest arc in the series? A relatively lighthearted arc that is only 12 episodes long, making it the second shortest one in the series, which is kinda ironic given how it has the longest arc title. Now, you might be thinking, 12 episodes, that's not even 9% of the series. Can this series, even with its great writing and pacing, successfully conclude the anime with just 12 episodes? Yeah. This arc had 2 important roles to fill. First of all, it had to serve as an effective cooldown from the intensity of the last arc, and second of all, it had to, hopefully temporarily, conclude the anime. So how does this arc follow the most intense one in the series? By being Succession. Kind of. With the events of the Chimera Ant arc now resolved, the 13th Chairman election arc introduces us to the Zodiacs. They've all gathered here today to discuss a very important topic: why this motherfucker looks like that. which one of them will be the next Hunter chairman. Hence the name of their council. The zodiacs are all conveniently related to their zodiac signs. Well, Chinese zodiac signs, meaning like animals. Sorry, astrology girls, you can click off this video now. Just kidding, please keep watching. So let's meet the zodiacs. We have Mizai Nana, the cow, Kanzai, the tiger, Pion, the bunny, rabbit, Botabai Gigante, the dragon, Gel, the snake, Sacho Kobayakawa, the horse, Ginta, the sheep, Sayu, the monkey, Cluck, the chicken, yes, that's her actual name, Cheadle Yorkshire, the dog, Ging Freaks, I feel like I recognize this guy from somewhere, the boar, and Megan, the stallion. Okay, yeah, I lied about that last one, but there is one more zodiac who shows up late to the discussion. Pariston Hill, yes, clever name, I know, the rat. He gets reprimanded for showing up late, which honestly is understandable because even Jing showed up on time. You know, the guy who, after 136 episodes, still refuses to show up in his son's life. But here's the thing, Pariston has balls. He shows up late and casually goes, "Hey everyone, nice discussion, some really great talking points here, but we can honestly just skip the whole election and pick me as the new chairman." Of course, this statement pisses off the Zodiacs, but suddenly Jing surprises everyone by announcing his plan to run for the position of chairman. Pariston responds like, "Okay, first of all, I'm the vice chairman already, so watch your fucking mouth, big boy. And also, isn't your son in, like, the hospital right now?" "He's fine," Ging says, not knowing the status of his son. Yeah, I should mention that Gon is currently hospitalized after the crazy events of the last arc, but we really don't need to talk about it since Ging doesn't care. Shocker. Anyways, after coming to the mind-blowing realization that the people around him have their own opinions, Pariston proposes that the new chairman be decided through lottery voting, which, after some more discussion, is accepted by the whole council. The rules are established by Jing. 1. All of the hunters are both candidates and voters. 2. The election will be repeated if the candidate with the most votes didn't win the primary election. 3. If the voting rate is less than 95%, the election will be redone. 4. Nameless votes will not be accepted, and 5, the chairman has to be Jing free. Hey, Jing, you sneaky bitch. Obviously, the last rule is not accepted, but after it's omitted, the first 4 are set in stone. So with that, the election begins. The first election results in Pariston receiving a total of 249 votes, severely blowing the rest of the candidates out of the water as Cheadle came in second place with only 42 votes. Pretty wild, right? Well, no, because earlier we actually learned that Jing met with Beans, this character, in order to rig the election in Pariston's favor. Ging, you sneaky bitch. The voting rate turns out to be less than 95% though, and a re-election is called. So Pariston decides that if hunters refuse to vote and refuse to give their name on a slip, then their hunter licenses will be temporarily revoked, which, after some discussion, everyone agrees to. The second election passes, leading to, the same exact end results, and of course, more arguing amongst the Zodiac Council members. Meanwhile, Illumi, Killwa's older brother from previous arcs in the series, approaches Hisoka to inform him that Gon is in critical condition in the hospital, and can only be saved with the help of a younger Zoldyck sibling. This is very important information that the main character's life depends on, and information that Killua has been knowing, so he ventures over to his absolute child trauma breeding hell of a household to go ask his dad to see his aforementioned younger sibling. Oh wait, who is this younger sibling? Meet Asuka. She's Killwa's adorable little sister. She's a sweet girl who loves and trusts Killua deeply, and she is also, possessed by an evil spirit. Yeah, so basically, Asuka will ask people to do shit for her, as kids do, and if her requests are repeatedly denied, then Nonika, the evil spirit, will possess her and... Oh god. Christ.
A relatively lighthearted arc?
But here's the thing, despite what you may think, Asuka isn't evil. She isn't in control of Nonika, and genuinely means no harm when asking for requests. Obviously, it's still a serious issue though, so the Zoldyck family does what any responsible and concerned parents would do by keeping her in solitary confinement for her entire life. I mean, it's not totally unexpected given how they tied up and tortured Killua in the one arc that people claim isn't an actual arc, but god, a good old childhood trauma breeding ground, remember? Back to the plot though. After some arguing, Killwa's dad, Silva Zoldyck, I don't remember if I've introduced him in this review series yet, finally lets Killua into Asuka's maximum security prison cell. Oh, wow, that's a nice room actually. As we know, the reason as to why Killua visited Asuka was to have her safe gone, but how will she do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Basically, Asuka can grant wishes, but there are rules when having her grant them. 1. If 3 of Asuka's wishes are granted by someone, she'll grant 1 wish for them. 2. The bigger the wish is, the more extreme the requests will be. 3. The person obeying Asuka's requests will receive requests of the same intensity level received by the previous person. And 4. If Asuka's requests are declined 4 times in a row, the person denying them will, die, as we saw earlier. Meanwhile, the rest of the Zoldycks are watching this encounter via security camera and become paranoid about what Killua's wish will be, leading to one of Killua's coldest moments. Basically, he sorta starts to realize that his family might be up to some shit, so he scoops Asuka up in his arms and is like, hey, here's what's gonna happen. You'll let me out of here and let me make my wish outside of the house. Obviously, Silva refuses this request, which leads to Killua wishing for Asuka to kill their mom if they aren't allowed to leave. And so Silva's like, okay, bitch, goddamn. So after that minor altercation, Killua and Asuka successfully leave the Zoldyck mansion with one very important mission, getting to Killua's best friend gone in time. But the two aren't alone, they're joined by a team of Zoldyck family butlers. Goto, the coin motherfucker from the Zoldyck family arc. God damn, not talking about that arc is really coming back to bite me in the ass right now. Fuck. Subone. Oh, okay, pop off me, ma, okay. Canary.
Oh my god, she's back.
And finally, Amane, Canary's gay-ass girlfriend. Like, just look at this interaction between them. Anyways, the reason why the butlers accompany Killua and Asuka is because Silva hired them, anticipating that this mission would be a dangerous one. And dangerous it is because Hisoka and Illumi find out about Asuka's power and set out to capture her. And while all of this is happening, the election, oh yeah, remember that, is getting more and more intense by the minute. And also Leorio's back. Trying his best as usual. This pretty much sets up the main plot. It's one that's interesting and engaging, brilliantly intertwining different story beats together and cool twists and turns throughout, which I won't spoil obviously. It's also just dark and action-packed enough while also serving as a nice cooldown from the Chimera Ant arc, and while it may only be 12 episodes long, it really only needs 12 episodes to tell its story. And now, with all of that said, let's move on to the other aspects of the show that don't have to do with the story, such as the characters, art, and music. First of all, the characters. Gon is primarily absent throughout a fuck ton of this arc, but instead of the show feeling empty without the main character, it still feels great because of the amount of screen time and development Killua gets. And Leorio becomes relevant again too, which is always really nice. He helped to truly bring out the entertaining aspect of the actual election scenes. Other returning characters. Canary's awesome, Goto's cool, Jing is the same as ever, and Illumi and Hisoka are great villains that were really cool to see again, same with the rest of the Zoldyck family. As for the new characters, I enjoyed them too. Asuka was adorable and a really interesting character, not to mention great transgender representation, which is always really refreshing to see in anime. Not to mention, this arc was written in 2011 in Japan, so very ahead of its time. Amane and Subone, especially Amane in my opinion, were also really fun characters, and it was really cool seeing the interests of the Zoldyck family butlers clash with the interests of Killua throughout the arc. As for the Zodiacs, I'll admit that I didn't care about a fair amount of them, more on that later, but I like Cheetle and Periston. Cheetle because she was one of the more relevant Zodiacs, and especially Periston, because it was really awesome seeing that Togashi could not only write powerful and calculating villains, but also sleazy and cunning antagonists who have purposefully unclear motivations. The dynamic between these two was also really fun. There were no characters in this arc that I outright disliked, unless they were, intended to be disliked. But that leads to my one complaint. I feel like most of the Zodiacs were just there to make the whole Chinese Zodiac aesthetic happen. Aside from Cheetle, Periston, and obviously Jing, the Zodiacs were pretty much irrelevant outside of making the election happen. But this isn't a huge complaint, and the character aspect of the arc is heavily improved by, the character development of characters like Killua, as well as the return of a certain beloved character at the end. Moving on to the art, as I've said in every video about this series now, it's great. As always, Madhouse does a great job animating this series, and the character designs are all unique. Yep, very unique. The fights, movement animations, visual gags, blah blah blah, so on and so forth were all great. Even the outright traumatizing shit like this bitch's death makes you go, hey, damn, this shit's pretty well animated. As for the music, it's great as always. There isn't much in terms of new tracks on the OST,
Well, from what I can remember.
but the existing tracks are great and suit their respective moments perfectly. As for the opening theme, you ready to do this one last time? The opening theme for this arc is Departure, which has never been used in this series before. I did it! People love me, people find me funny. Yeah, as always, Departure is a great opening theme. It's also the first version of the song that's used here, which is 1, the version I prefer, and 2, the classic version, which is a fitting pick for the last arc of the series so far. I also want to point out the cool visuals in this particular opening because I really enjoy the bold, stylistic choices made for it. Get it? Because it makes use of bold outlines and shading. God, I am on a roll today. The ending theme used for this arc is, once again, Hyori Itai, but here's the kicker. They pulled the old Departure with this ending. So yeah, the version used for the ending here is, well, a different part of the full song, which threw me off at first, but it's still really awesome. The voice acting is something that I forgot to talk about in my last video, I'm so sorry, but yeah, it's really good in this arc. Obviously, the returning characters are all still played very well, but as for the new characters, Maya Uchida does a great job of playing Aluka, Marina Inoue does a great job of playing Amane, Ikoku Tani is great at playing Tsubone. Did you know that this bitch voiced fucking Patrick in the Japanese dub of SpongeBob? I'm not even joking, look it up. There are other great talents as well, but the highlight for me was Hiroki Takahashi as Pariston Hill. He does a fantastic job of capturing the seemingly nice and cheerful, yet also cunning, sly, and dare I say, zesty nature of him. I also want to give a shout out to Keiji Fujiwara as Leorio. I know I've already praised his voice work a bunch in the previous videos, but I just wanted to acknowledge his greatness yet again, given how, this was his last performance as Leorio. Rest in peace, Mr. Fujiwara, and thank you for your great work. Okay, that's all I have to say about the main categories, without spoiling, of course, and sorry for ending on such a depressing note there, but there's still one question, actually 2 questions, that I haven't answered. Does this arc successfully follow up the Chimera Ant arc, and does it successfully conclude the anime? I kinda already answered this earlier, but yeah, this arc was a fantastic follow-up to the Chimera Ant arc. It continues the plot in a way that's both interesting and sensible, and it reintroduces the fun and happy vibe of previous arcs, while still retaining the dark gruesomeness that the Chimera Ant arc introduced. Now, as for the second question, yes, this arc is a fantastic conclusion to the anime, so far. Concluding this anime was always going to be a tricky task. It had to both, well, conclude the series in a satisfying and reasonable way, and set up the next arc so it wouldn't make no sense when the series comes back, which hopefully it does soon. And this arc does a great job at doing both of those things. It ends with a satisfying yet tear-jerking temporary conclusion, which I won't spoil of course, but it also teases the next arc in a way that feels less like a cliffhanger and more like, yeah, it'll come back when it's time for it to come back. It's fucking fantastic, it's incredible, it's good writing. If you couldn't tell already, I really love the 13th Hunter Chairman election arc of Hunter x Hunter. The only complaint I had was the one I addressed earlier about most of the Zodiacs having relatively 0 character-defining moments, but aside from that, nothing major. I know it probably seems crazy to give a 12-episode long arc a 10 out of 10, but if you think it is, you clearly haven't seen it. Or I'm just crazy. So yeah, 10 out of 10. But with all that said, thank you so much for oh, wait. The 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime is fucking fantastic. It's one of the greatest shonen series ever, and it's clear to see why exactly it's left such a huge impact on the world of anime. But this video isn't about the world's opinion on the show, it's about mine. So let's recap every arc that I've reviewed in this series and deliver a final verdict on the whole anime. The Hunter exam arc began the series with a bang. It's one of the most exciting, gripping anime arcs of all time, filled with unrelenting action, crazy stakes, incredible world building, and of course, a fantastic introduction to a story and cast of characters that would only get more interesting as the series went on. It's definitely more akin to a generic shonen arc than an arc like, say, the Chimera Ant arc, but it's pretty much perfect at, well, being just that. And it provides its own unique twists and turns to the formula in literally every single aspect. I gave this a 10 out of 10 my original review of it, 3 years ago, and I still stand by that rating today. The Heaven's Arena arc is the follow-up to the Hunter exam arc, and sadly it's kinda underwhelming compared to it. It's still very good though. The characters, both existing and new, are interesting, Nen gets introduced in the arc, and the whole tournament style is sick. However, it suffers from a somewhat confusing intro to Nen, a sudden lack of 2 certain significant characters, a lack of the interesting world building seen in the first arc, and more of a generic feel than the first arc, but all in all, it's a short and serviceable arc that is still a ton of fun to watch. In my video on it 2 years ago, I gave it an 8 out of 10, and today I still stand by that score. The Yorknew City arc puts us in the shoes, I think, of Kurapika, and in my opinion, brings the series back to its Hunter exam arc levels of greatness. It brings back the fantastic world building, gives us a proper introduction to the amazing group of villains known as the Phantom Troop, introduces a much darker tone to the series, and gives most of the spotlight to Kurapika, a very interesting character who I was excited to see more development for. The only real issue I had with the arc was that it had the characters, for the most part, remain split up, but aside from that, fuck, it's good. Just under a year ago, I gave this arc a 10 out of 10, and I still agree with that rating today. The Greed Island arc shifts the focus back to Gon and Killua, and serves as both a training arc and a Sword Art Online-esque trapped in a video game story that's actually good, unlike Sword Art Online. It's a great cooldown arc following Yorknew City and preceding the Chimera Ant arc, with cool lore, fantastic world building, and impressive commitment to the video game setting from Togashi. The only problems I had with the arc were that the main villain was kinda dumb, the stakes were kinda watered down. In kinda under a year ago, I gave this a 9 out of 10, and today I still agree with that score. Now the Chimera Ant arc, the longest, darkest one in the series. If you couldn't already tell from my video 2 weeks ago where I glazed it for exactly 16 minutes. Wow. Yeah, I love this arc. I gave it a 10 out of 10 then, and I would give it a 10 out of 10 now. And I will, 10 out of 10. And finally, the 13th Hunter Chairman election arc, the arc we talked about today. As I said before, I'd give it a 10 out of 10, and I mean, my opinion from a few minutes ago hasn't changed. Shocker, I know. So with all of that said, with all these arcs reviewed and discussed again here, it's time to deliver a final verdict on the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime. Let's total up the scores. The Hunter exam arc was a 10 out of 10, the Heaven's Arena arc was an 8 out of 10, the Yorknew City arc was a 10 out of 10, the Greed Island arc was a 9 out of 10, the Chimera Ant arc was a 10 out of 10, and the final arc, not really, but this final arc was also a 10 out of 10. Combine all these scores together and you get an overall rating that rounds up to a 10 out of 10. Like I've said countless times now, I fucking loved Hunter x Hunter, and I wasn't lying when I said that. This is one of my favorite anime series of all time, and I wouldn't hesitate to put it in my personal top 10. Hell, maybe even top 5. It's good. Really good. If you haven't seen it already, watch it. Trust me, if you're an anime fan, you'll at least get some enjoyment out of it. Like, come on, I put a lot of effort into making these reviews like at least a bit spoiler free. Watch it! And now, yeah, I guess this review series is over. I mean, the series will come back eventually, hopefully, but until then, I guess that's that. That doesn't mean I'm done doing videos on Hunter x Hunter though. If you guys want to see me rank the arcs, which, yeah, you'll find out about my favorite arc if you do that, wink wink, nudge nudge, talk about certain fights, or, I don't know, talk about the original 1999 anime, then let me know in the comments below. And of course, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and all of that shit, especially subscribing. I'm hoping to hit 1K subs by the end of the year, and if you guys could make that happen, I would be so grateful. But for now, I mean, thanks for sticking around with me for 3 whole years, putting up with my lazy and inconsistent ass and supporting this series. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.